Welcome to Mainland, your local regional television station. I'm Chrissy Small, and some of the stories coming up in today's news. Increase in doctors and nurses for the region. Classic bikes move on, and Doco highlights plight, and more. There are over 770 doctors and nurses in Nelson Marlborough, according to Health Minister Jonathan Coleman, who said this week that a record number of doctors and nurses are now taking care of patients in Nelson Marlborough DHB. In a media release this week, Dr. Coleman said more doctors and nurses means faster treatment and better experiences for patients and their families. As of the 31st of March 2016, there were over 190 doctor full-time equivalents and 580 nurse full-time equivalents employed by the Nelson Marlborough District Health Board. That's almost 50 more doctors and over 70 more nurses compared to 2008. The number of doctors and nurses working overall in our public health system has increased by over 6,100 since 2008, an increase of 25%. This includes around 1,100 more senior doctors, an increase of 36%, and almost 1,100 more senior nurses, an increase of 40%. Dr. Coleman released the Health of the Health Workforce report in February, which outlined the challenges facing the sector, such as an ageing workforce and staffing rural positions. He said work programs to help address these issues continue, including a voluntary bonding scheme which encourages health practitioners to practice in specialities and regions that they are traditionally difficult to staff. An extra $400 million is being invested into the sector this year, taking the health budget to a record $15.9 billion. You can find out more on the Ministry of Health's website, health.govt.nz. Notes to Eternity is a film that anyone with an interest in the ongoing Israel and Palestinian situation should go and see. The documentary screening this week in Nelson State Theatre on Wednesday to a sold-out house was made by Kiwi director Sarah Cordery. The film is described as a meditation on the Israel-Palestinian conflict that centres on the lives and ideas of 4 renowned critics of Israel policy. Filmed over a number of years in multiple locations, Notes to Eternity becomes an exploration of the very act of representing injustice suffered by another. Tania Omar caught up with director Sarah Cordery after the opening screening of her film on Wednesday evening this week in Nelson.
How would you describe the style of your documentary?
Well, it's described as an impressionistic meditation on the Israel-Palestine conflict through the life and work of these 4 characters. And I think, just generally about making documentary, I feel that we've become enamoured of certain styles of documentary, and I wanted to explore that a bit further and take it in a different direction. There's these nicely packaged kind of expositional documentaries, and on the one hand, and also human interest stories on the other. And I think my film attempts to do several different things.
How long did it take?
The shooting took place over 10 years and the editing over 3 to 4, but of course not all of that time. It wasn't continuous time. But it's a very long film in the making.
Why did it take 10 years?
For a variety of reasons, but I was filming this, actually 15 shoots went into this film, and 14 of those were overseas, travelling at various times with several of the characters to the Middle East, going to America, going to Europe, going to Australia. There was one shoot in New Zealand, and just coordinating these things, having enough money to use good cameras and fly and accommodate people. It's an expensive business, yeah.
So there were 4 key people in the movie. Who were they and why those 4?
The 4 people in the film are Noam Chomsky, Robert Fisk, both of whom a lot of people will have heard of, Robert Fisk, through his book, The Great War for Civilization, which he brought out here for writers and readers a number of years ago. And Sarah Roy and Norman Finkelstein, who are both Jewish American intellectuals, who are also the children of Holocaust survivors, and that's part of their story in the film.
And why those 4 characters when you took on this documentary?
Well, as I said, I started with a cast of thousands, and over time I narrowed it down to these 4. They had such extraordinary stories, and Robert Fisk and Noam Chomsky within the film provide these kind of historical arcs and political framework for understanding various things. And Sarah and Norman, their stories are more personal within the film.
So yes, it is politically charged, and there's been talk of you taking the documentary to the USA. Have you been warned about your personal safety over there?
Not warned about my personal safety, but I've been warned to expect, personal attack, verbal attack as opposed to physical. Well, I hope it's verbal and not physical. But yes, I think there could be some of that, but I'm hoping not.
Even in New Zealand, we heard tonight at the question and answer session that there's a letter to the editor of The Listener accusing your documentary of hating Israel. So to people who haven't actually seen the documentary, how would you respond to this?
Well, I'm telling a story with this documentary, which is these 4 people, their life and work in relation to this issue. And I believe I've done it in a very considered way and been as fair and objective in presenting their positions and their life in relation to. It's done impressionistically, so of course there's a lot of my input in there. But if the writer of that letter has an issue with the ideas that these 4 characters present, I don't see that as my problem. It's, and they're certainly not anti-Israel. None of them, the 4 characters in my film, are not anti-Israel, and they're certainly not anti-Semitic.
Many of the audience in the question and answer session wanted you to cover other angles on other issues relating around this subject. And what was your response to them?
Basically, I'm not the United Nations, and I think when you're making a film, you have to set parameters. And my parameters were, this is a story about these 4 people in relation to this issue. And yes, I could have made a film about Israelis in relation to this issue, or I could have made it about how Israelis and Palestinians are collaborating to try and change facts on the ground. But that wasn't what my film was about. So I think as a filmmaker you have to be very clear about what you're doing, and I believe my film is.
And where to now for Sarah Cordery, and where to now for this documentary?
The documentary, I'd like it to go to festivals overseas and hopefully have some theatrical life overseas. For me, I'm already working on a couple of projects which have been in gestation for a year, but not. They won't be based overseas, they're here, so hopefully they won't take me 10 years to bring to fruition.
How did you convince Alan Bollinger to leave the comfort of his home here to travel all the way to the Middle East?
Yeah, well, I heard that Alan doesn't like to leave the comfort of the West Coast, and so I felt very honoured that he came along with this project. But he's a great admirer of both Noam Chomsky and Robert Fisk, and so I guess that, you'll have to ask him, but I guess that was the determining factor for him. But it was a real privilege to have him along for that ride.
Growing community concerns after a fatal crash on the intersection of Maisie and Westdale roads on the 3rd of December last year caused a call for changes by the local rural community to be heard. Community feedback since the new road markings and signage at the intersection have now been completed and have proven positive over the improvements on the Maisie Road, Westdale Road intersection in Tasman. The final stages of safety barrier work are almost complete. New Zealand Transport Agency's Central Regional Performance Manager Mark Owen said that the success of the project has come from having both direct communication with the community and developing a workable solution that could be implemented quickly. Mr. Owen said the feedback they've had so far from the community is that the new layout is already making a big difference to road users. Local community representative Tarlai Hayward said that the intersection feels so much safer and everyone is very happy with the outcome. Less than a month after closing its doors to the public, the Nelson Classic Motorcycle Museum has been sold to the Transport World in Invercargill. However, the collection will be housed within the Invercargill CBD and not at Transport World. It is expected the new attraction will open to the public in late 2016 on a permanent basis. Previously owned by Tom and Heather Sturgis, the New Zealand Classic Motorcycle Collection was first made available to the public in December 2014 in a premises in Haven Road, Nelson. It closed to the public in April this year after Tom suffered some health issues, causing him to re-evaluate life and to make a decision to simplify life by reviewing assets here and overseas. Offshore buyers had put in offers, but Tom's wish for the collection to remain in New Zealand meant that the move to Invercargill was the best outcome for Tom and the country. Last Sunday, the government announced that they will be adding extra funding for cycle trails. This announcement has been met favourably by Tasman Mayor Richard Kempthorne, who said that government adding extra funding for cycle trails and existing great rides is testament to the success of the work councils and the cycle trusts around New Zealand have undertaken over the last few years. Tasman's Great Taste Trail has exceeded expectations for user numbers and it is not yet finished. Mayor Kempthorne said it is hoped that Tasman District Council can access this new government funding to match Council's contribution. It will enable TDC to join the coastal section of the Great Taste Trail via Wakefield and Tapawera to the Motueka Valley and create a 3 to 5 day loop, providing riders with the opportunity to further enjoy everything Tasman has to offer. It will help attract more tourists for longer, creating more positive spin-offs, which in turn will provide a real economic boost to the region. This was highlighted at the recent opening of the Spooners Tunnel, attesting to the popularity of the trail, with around 400 turning out to celebrate opening the longest cycling and walking tunnel in the Southern Hemisphere. Youth Week kicks off this Saturday with events and happenings taking place all over the region. I caught up with Deanne Kilpatrick, who is the coordinator of the Nelson Tasman Youth Workers Collective, to find out more about what's on the menu for the youth in our region. Deanne Kilpatrick, now tell me a bit about what's planned for the youth for next week's Youth Awareness Week.
Youth Week has a whole heap of activities happening right across the Nelson Tasman region. Everything from chalk drawing at the 1903 Square to quizzes at libraries and young leaders projects.
Okay, now this is not happening in a school holiday, is it?
No.
So
it's the week starting the 21st through
right.
the 29th, so next week.
Okay, are the schools participating in this?
The schools have the information. We don't have any events from the schools on our brochure, but the schools all have the brochures with the events on it.
Okay, so basically all the activities are after school programs?
Most of them are. There is one that's happening at the secondary schools, and that's the Teen Health Fest, which is a mobile health clinic with all sorts of different health professionals, and that's touring around the area and visiting all of the secondary schools. So that will be during school time. And there are a few things happening. For example, there's an electronic device session at the Motueka Library, which is being delivered by senior students from Motueka High School to help other people learn how to use their electronic devices, and that is on Tuesday the 24th from 2:30 at the Motueka Library.
Well, that sounds good for anyone with a smartphone who just can't get their head around it.
Yes, so basically this is young people who are, of course, technologically savvy, helping those of us who struggle a little to get the best out of their devices.
Yes, well, we all know they seem to be born with the knowledge these days,
do.
don't they? Yeah.
The vast majority of the events are after school. Another one is also at the Motueka Library, which is a performance by Motueka High School music students, which is at 1:30 on Friday the 27th, which everybody is welcome to attend and see how talented those musical students are in Motueka.
Well, we see that one of them has just gone through to the finalists, finals for this weekend's Rock Quest, yes?
Rock Quest is another one of the events advertised in the brochure.
Right, and of course the final is coming up this Saturday. People better be in quick for tickets because
Absolutely.
I can imagine it's almost sold out.
I'm not certain, but it sells out very quickly, so if people want tickets, they do need to do something quite soon.
Right. Now, we've been showcasing a bit of the talent from Rock Quest, and it really does highlight what a bunch of talented young people we have in the region.
Oh, we have some amazing young people in our region, artists, musicians, performers of all shapes and sizes.
Yes.
And we are very lucky to have the opportunity to showcase some of the talent of these amazing young people.
Great. Well, Deanne, where can people find more information on what's going on around the region for next week?
The brochure is available online. It's at Jam, so www.jamonline.co.nz.
Right.
Hard copies of the brochure are available at secondary schools and a variety of youth venues like YMCA, the Truck, and different agencies around the place. They're also available at the libraries, all of the libraries in Nelson and Tasman.
Great. Okay, well, we hope to get our cameras to some of these events and see how our youth are going next week.
Well, it's a wonderful opportunity, and it is an international week, so it's a wonderful opportunity to celebrate our region's young people as part of a celebration worldwide of the fantastic young people that we have.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Deanne. It's nice to know that the Nelson Tasman Youth Workers Collective is out there promoting these wonderful events.
Thank you.
And finally, to help you appreciate New Zealand Music Month with today's Smoke-Free Rock Quest finalist, we will leave you now with Garran College Band, Future Class.
Going faster, please. Go so slow all the time.
After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
We're the team at JCar, right here in Nelson, 120 Hardy Street. Our shop is full of electronic items,
including security alarm systems, electronic components,
solar and power,
electronics toys,
sound systems, cables, and much, much more. JCar.
120 Hardy Street, Nelson.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Hi there, Julian Toon, Waimea Telecommunications. We install and maintain domestic and commercial satellite TV, UHF Freeview and Mainland TV installations in the Nelson, Tasman regions. We specialise in Panasonic telephone systems and provide communications, Wi-Fi, IT and wiring for internet, fibre, computers and DSL systems. At Waimea Telecommunications, we also provide specialist electronic systems for features such as a security camera you can watch on your TV, visitor alert systems and much more. Improve your security and communication and entertainment today. Call us on Waimea Telecommunications on 021 472297, ytel.co.nz.
Are you tired of endless reality shows? Would you prefer to watch captivating documentaries?
They have swallowed cars.
Exciting movies.
Go ahead, load up and shoot.
Music for the soul.
And if you think I'd ate your fish and chips, I did, you're mistaken.
Programming from around the world. Places to visit. Local news and views.
I'm Graham O'Brien and today's bulletin. Do you want to change the flag?
No, I don't want to change the flag.
Stay tuned to Mainland TV, your local station.
Nelson Tire Center. Great prices, great service. Buy your own Bryford trailer. All types, all sizes. See Colin Douglas for your tires and batteries.
Sit and Be Fit is on at the Victory Community Centre Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. at the Victory Community Church, 238 Upper Vanguard Street. School terms only. Fun while you get fitter, work at your level. For more information, please contact Shirley on 547 1433 or 021 121 8023.
Victory 60 Plus is on Tuesdays at 1:30 through to 3:30 p.m. at 238 Upper Vanguard Street. You can join in for cards, games and a cuppa. For more information you can contact Jan on 546 9057 or 027 4577 955. On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thank you for joining us, and we'll bring you the latest news and events from around the region again tomorrow.
supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
Hi there, Julian Toon, Waimea Telecommunications. We install and maintain domestic and commercial satellite TV, UHF Freeview and Mainland TV installations in the Nelson, Tasman regions. We specialise in Panasonic telephone systems and provide communications, Wi-Fi, IT and wiring for internet, fibre, computers and DSL systems. At Waimea Telecommunications, we also provide specialist electronic systems for features such as a security camera you can watch on your TV, visitor alert systems and much more. Improve your security and communication and entertainment today. Call us on Waimea Telecommunications on 021 472297, ytel.co.nz.
Are you looking for a scooter, walker, wheelchair, baby seats or pushchairs? Then come in and see the Nelson Region Specialist at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library. We have a huge selection of scooters, walkers, wheelchairs and accessories, along with a free booklet guide. We also provide a breakdown service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. We have fully equipped service vans to rescue you. Hi, I'm Robin Jordan and I invite you to call in and see the friendly team at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library.
World War I was a defining period in our history, impacting greatly on the lives of people from the Nelson province. Memories of the First World War is an exhibition which will be displayed in a number of regional venues and is currently on at the Nelson Provincial Museum.
You can't touch this. Touch this.
Tune into Sunshine Radio, 87.8 and 107.5 FM.
The music hits so hard, can't touch this.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Are you tired of endless reality shows? Would you prefer to watch captivating documentaries,
They have swallowed cars.
exciting movies,
Go ahead, load up and shoot.
music for the soul,
And if you think I'd eat your fish and chips, I did, you're mistaken.
programming from around the world, places to visit, local news and views?
I'm Graham O'Brien and today's bulletin. Do you want to change the flag?
Nah, I don't want to change the flag.
Stay tuned to Mainland TV, your local station.